EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using buddy payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money. Welcome home.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Folks, we're planning to have a very good time here tonight. No sticking, so let's get the ball rolling. Welcome. As per usual, pull up your chair, tell a friend, gather your household, and let's have some frank talk. Thank you for joining as you continue your third-month journey into 2023, effortlessly wiser, and of course more aware as to how, what, who, when, and where to avoid. And you and I know there's a lot of this how, what, who, especially the who, when and where to avoid on your forward, onward, and upward journey. This is my 114th independent live session and 12th for 2023 thus far. Really, folks, remember to share the live. Share the live as constantly as you can because we have a lot to say here this evening. You see, my deliveries speak to consistency because truth be told, if after every one you can be saying, that was the best, you know what that means? Effort is being put into this so that you can actually end up saying that. And that is what you're supposed to be doing with the jobs that you do. Every day you go to work, you should perform at your best levels. So that just in case you croak in the process of your work today, it was your best performance yet. Isn't that wonderful motivation, folks? So thank you, the early ones, for pulling up your chair and taking up your positions. Of course, with your seats up front, you are easier able to interact live. Thanks for the positive feedback that you are now able to take responsibility for your own growth and development, because no one is coming to save you. After all, we only have one life to live. This is the real deal. This is showtime. What a pity too few of us know not to treat life as a rehearsal, but as the real deal, the only one that is. Folks, today you will learn to live life intentionally and on mission, while recognizing this is truly showtime. You see, you have to live regardless of what who may think or say about you. Look at the magnet here for a lot of negative sayings and negative doings and negative attempts. Hey, my standard of living and quality of life never dropped because I remain true and consistent to who I am. What about you? A lot of you are pandering to the whim and fancy of other people, and you're not really living. You're not living at all. And who are these people that you're trying to please with your life? A set of lumpens. People that will never go anywhere with their lives. But you're following them as if you were born at the hip, joined rather, at the hip at birth with them. So you're twins. And you don't want to separate. Folks, cut that nonsense out and live your life. Live regardless of what you may think or say of you. Be prepared to let your spirit of authenticity irritate the demons of your haters. So many haters around these days, folks. What a pity. They pop up as a result of the decay of our society, as presided over by the poorest quality of leadership our nation has ever been presided over in its entire history. Haters are everywhere. Pay them no mind, except to realize that they make you know you are different from them. I learned a long time now that once you have haters, you should be congratulated, because you made it in life. Haters simply mean, it's an acronym, you know, Haters. Having anger towards everyone reaching success. Haters. Having anger towards everyone reaching success. Once other people are wasting their time to hate on you, congratulations. You are indeed successful. Folks, you have to be comfortable to be the bad guy in someone's story. It is better to be hated and free than loved and controlled. Hypocrites are free and uncomfortable. We see them as jittery as ever all around us these days. Be the bad guy to them by staying focused, staying on mission. When they can't control you, they label you the bad guy. You do not have to do something wrong to be considered the bad guy. When you establish boundaries and enforce those said boundaries, you will be hated. I know, because I am one. Never be uncomfortable with making others uncomfortable for your own self-respect. Stay focused. You see, whatever you need in life will control you. If you are someone who needs money, for instance, you will be controlled by situations, circumstances, and people that offer money to you. And that will be the situations, circumstances, and people that would most manipulate you. If you need love and affection, you will be most manipulated, coerced, and even influenced by the people you perceive hold the keys or access to love. And the list can go on. Folks, let me tell you something. I have been targeted all too often by people who wish to get my silence. Interestingly, they sent all sorts of people that they know I am okay with, who had a little change, to see if they could offer me this and offer me that. Guess what? As long as I have a dry place to sleep and a plate of food when the day comes. I was brought up with a word as road march in my living environment by my poor and humble, well-valued mother. Contentment. Contentment. She trained us to pay and make sure that first bill we pay is for that private space we live. She says, make sure you pay your rent or your mortgage because you have a private place to suffer. Nobody will know your business. But when you seem to be going after all material things and not having focus and your priorities out of whack, the tunnel ain't have no door, because that's where you will end up sleeping for shelter. Everybody will see your business with your designer shoe on, your nice watch on, your nice designer glasses, your good clothes, but you have nowhere to live. I never forget that. That has always stayed with me. So folks, nobody could jingle anything in front of me. Folks, I have learned a long time, when you are committed to what is right, to the true values of life, providence takes over. Divine intervention becomes your rescue to ensure that your principles are maintained. Isn't that fascinating? But you see, a lot of you can't understand that because you feel to have a few dollars in your pocket and you don't care how you get it, as long as you have it and you could flaunt it. These days, don't try to have no party and say you're going for exclusive prices to get in, gate price. Joke you're making. The wrong people that have the money that come in. The right people either know how to prioritize, so that FET is no longer something on their list of priorities, or they just can't afford it. Been there, done that. No need to do it again. So the rabble that you don't want are the ones that have the money. The ones that you're trying to prevent from coming in to sort of muddy your environment because you don't want this kind of people in here. This is a joke you're making. It's themselves who come in because it's themselves who have the money, and it's themselves who have no priorities intact. I want you structured people outside there listening to me now to understand priorities introduce you to a person's character. Priorities tell you who a person is. Never ever forget that, folks. You see, the person who needs nothing cannot be controlled. Cannot be controlled by their ego, nor by the external world. They are the most powerful beings in this realm. If you need nothing, then you cannot be influenced. You make your judgments and your decisions based on what you feel. Not by someone that you think you need. That's the purest form of decision making. It is intuitive. It is connected. It is from source. You're guided by source, not guided by psychology. Psychology is programmable, fallible, predictable. It is something that can be primed and manipulated. Who would like to make their decisions in a place of pure intent? I'm sure you would like to. But don't only settle for doing it today and tomorrow. Well, I did it yesterday already, man. No, be consistent. And that is how you gain the respect of others. You see, when you make your decisions from a place of pure intent, then just approaching every situation, not needing anything, and yet willing to give everything. How many of you fall into the category that give, and never in the business of looking for what you can get from others? And who, yet for all, your receivers hardly, if at all, look back to give anything to you. Do you remember me telling you that I adopted the philosophy a long time now, that I would rather fail with honor than succeed by fraud? That is why nobody can give me nothing to hush me up. Give me nothing and expect me, because I take what you give me, I am beholden to you. Everything you see me with has been worked hard for. I was never part of the gimme gang. Never. Well, you see, when I tell you I would rather fail with honor than succeed by fraud, that's what I mean. I can afford to make all my decisions from a place of pure intent, not obligation. What about you? What about you? You see, people like me have difficulties receiving anything from anyone. And if and when we do, we become totally grateful and appreciative. Look at all the people around us today who are falling ill, looking dejected and running ragged since June 23rd, 2022. Some are walking and looking back, as if they expect someone to come and take what they must have got by foul means and fraud. You see, when you have cocoa in sun, you must look for rain. You see, the pressures of life today, folks, are derived from their limitless desires, which are proving to be hard to curb. And you see them turning to slander and old talk, day in, day out, to see if they can reverse the forward march, that forward thrust against corruption and crimes against the pockets of our people. There is a thief let loose on the airwaves. If that thief is made to pay the penalty for thieving, that thief would not be so loud. You get the message? Right. You see, today I want to advise you of the categories of people you should become conscious of who are not really your friends. Because a lot of you very shallow about friendships. You have some people connected to you on Facebook, you think that is your friend. Oh God, all you retarded. Those are connections, folks. Look at the people, the categories of people that you should be wary of. Someone who only talks to you when they need something. I close the door on those people. We have them in our families and our relatives too. Happy to tell people you are related to them, but give you nothing to be proud of them. Someone who easily cancels on you and makes plans with someone else. Someone who treats you differently around other people. because they know people ain't like you. They have to prove a point to the other people who are around that don't like you, that they're cold with you. Then we're not so tight, you know. Oh God, all you retarded. Anybody who plays you down to other people, and someone who stops talking to you when you stop giving them what they want from you. I've been guilty of being real, R-E-A-L, and the false adversaries who would like to absorb me into their dishonest way of life would often describe me as awful, just because I call them out. Just because I call them by their right names. Because you know, when you call people by their right name, they despise you. You call someone by the right name, old thief, old nastiness, chief thief, they're vexed. But if none of that had any bearing on truth, why should you be offended? I have an explanation for this, you know, folks. Real versus awful. Listen to this. In fact, there is a thin line that separates those few who are real from the many who are awful. You see, you have it the other way around. The awful people you think are real, but the real people you think are awful. Hear me again. Oh God, some among you retarded we. Real is when you are like medicine. You taste bad, but good for the stomachs of whoever want to get well. Isn't medicine good for you? Medicine is good for you, but it tastes bad. That's real. You want to hear what awful is? Let me tell you what awful is. Awful is when you are poison posing as medicine. And you're neither good for yourself nor the person you dish it out to. An awful person is a downright arrogant, aggressive, and nasty person. Sounds like I'm speaking about the old nastiness, huh? Well, actually, he included, but I wasn't really talking about the old nastiness. Such people usually are fighting their own demons on the inside, which they project onto others. Such people are never happy with themselves, and we should pity them. Such people are the people with character flaws. Folks, I remember hearing a sermon delivered by Billy Graham some years ago when he still looked young and dapper. Because of how important this sharing here today is to me, I decided to search through YouTube, man, to see if I could find this particular YouTube this sharing of Billy Graham. Alas, I found it. I was able to find the one with the important excerpts I was craving to share. He said, gossiping is one of the worst sins, and yet how often that is done in the circles that call themselves Christians. Oh, Gede. Interestingly, I have stopped hanging around people who are known to have gossiped about me as soon as I would have departed a group that they were in. If any of them happen to be listening or viewing me today, probably not live, because some of them just hide. They don't want people to see them listening to me. So tomorrow, when things stale, they're gone on so nobody could see them. So they could renew their hate for me and how real I am. Folks, as I said, if any of them listening or viewing me today, or whenever they choose to do so, they would at last get to find out by this admission here today why they have been jettisoned from my ship of life. Billy Graham continued, folks, gossiping is a terrible sin in the sight of God, and God said that person is a fool. He would not think of killing a person with a gun or a knife, But many times when he assassinates a character or try to pull someone down or to get even, or because of jealousy or whispering innuendos, someone told me, or he or she did this or that. We commit murder by character assassination, worse than killing a man by a knife, a pistol, or even battering him with a club. According to the scripture, he that uttereth a slander is a fool. God knows we have so many fools among us. Just recently, a particular individual attempted to tell me something untoward about someone else. But this someone else I have known for a while, a long while. And I have to say attempted, because my internal switch flipped. I became so visibly annoyed with that person that after the lecture I delivered, that person knew not to ever do that again with me, and that this is probably the last time we may have had any geographically close conversation, as that person is now relegated to a person down the road. You know what happens to a person down the road? You treat them as you feel. Good morning if you feel to say good morning. And if you don't, you pass them like they never existed. I have absolutely no interest in that person anymore. I am not awful. I am real. Young people, pull up your goddamn chair and pay attention. Remember always, stay on mission. This is Showtime. Let's take a little break and we'll come back for some more. Today is a little bit of thunder, isn't it?
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using buddy payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home. I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we get, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. So, folks, we have a lot of turkeys to fry here this evening, so let me just pay homage to some lovely people. Sam, Antha, Lydia, darling, welcome, welcome. Yvette, Cynthia, Allison. Who else do we have here? Come on, quite a bit here this evening. Right, Allison. We also have Marlene, Jillian, Elva. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Carl, Karen, Yoland. We have a Samantha, not Sam Antha, that was the first one, but we have a Samantha. Melinda. We have, who else? Sawandi, my dear brother. Blessings to you, blessings. We have Doris. I see Lydia is very mindful here to put out what haters stand for, having anger towards everyone reaching success. We also have Maria, sweetie. We have Hannah, welcome, welcome. Leslie, welcome. Darius, Alice, Jennifer, welcome. We have, who else on this platform? Just bear with me. Carlos, Adinike, is that, I don't know. Adinike, I don't know if you pronounce it that way. Rani. Who else? Winsome, welcome. It's been a while. Shirley. Eudine. Who else do we have here? And Martin. We have also an Alma. And on the other platform here, we have, let's get to the bottom of this, starting, of course, from the top. Let me just share this with you because I'm really grateful for your joining me so that I know I'm not speaking to myself. We have Carrie Ann, Kathleen, Nakisha, Charmaine, Margaret, Elisa, Grenada, Sunshine, Sherma, Shirley, Lima, Renee, another Jennifer, Anne, Princess, Jonah or Jonaj. Who else do we have here? Jerry, Sherilyn, yes, Benedict, Roxy, Monica, John, Berlin, C, I don't have the C Francis, C, blessings, Mimi. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce your names correctly. Mimi, Christabel, Joy. Joy is a three-letter word, a little longer than no, N-O. You know, but it's easy to pronounce. Kelvin, Casey, Aria, Tamika, Brandon, Ernestine, Lisa, Betty Ann. Some people I may call twice because obviously the list goes on and I'm kind of forgetting who I may have called before. Rosalind. We have Peter Bishop. Welcome, welcome. Albert, Janice, Jackie, Lily, Sue. Sue, welcome, my dear, welcome. I see that you're joining me on YouTube. Wonderful, wonderful. Josie, Brenda, Brandon, thanks for your interactions there, quite a bit. Trisha, Who else? Joan or Joanne. Nenare. Not too sure if that's a name, a proper name, or just a little pseudonym. Yes, it seems like we're getting more of the same now. So Melanie, Melanie. That's a mistake. Dread, welcome, welcome. Petal, welcome. Glennis, another Yvonne, welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else do we have? We have a Steph, we have another Yvette, another Bernadette, Sensilicia, quite a name there. Listen, folks, welcome. Keep hitting that share button and let's get people in this room because we have a lot of turkeys to fry. We're just going into our second segment and it's already minutes to 8. So, you know, we're going to have a little bit of an overrun here this evening. Well, let's put it this way, as usual. I am unofficially adhering to your request for it to be a little longer for those of you who can't get enough. So, bear with me and show some gratitude. Folks, welcome back. You know, our anxieties get the better of us, causing us to turn every little molehill into a mountain. We are called upon, folks. Breathe. Breathe. Let's breathe. Inhale. Exhale as thoroughly as we can. We need to get all the old stale air out of our lungs and take in new air to release the tensions that we feel. We need to temper our anxiety for material acquisitions or our love to accumulate and save money. We need to temper that. I recently shared something I saw Premier Mark Brantley post on his Facebook page. If you're allergic to hard work, but you love material things, I see trouble in your future. This is not the season for that, folks. The Bible that many of you love to quote and quote warns us stoutly in the book of Ecclesiastes that there is a time and a place for everything under the sun. In our pre-COVID-19 days, we may have been correct to follow the money and other material gathering habits. Young people throughout the length and breadth of this trial and state, pull up your chair, man. I have told you of Vusi Tembekwayo, a thought-provoking young business leader from the continent of Africa, who is making waves internationally with many ideas on solving economic issues in Africa. He recently shared his knowledge about international developments from the turn of the 20th century into the 21st, as a comparison to the experiences that we are having today. What an enlightening perspective indeed. Folks, many of us think 2020 was tough, as we are still reeling from its effects. We just have to remember that most generations before us went through periods of extreme uncertainty. For example, as Tembekwayo said, if you were born in 1900, by the time you were in your teens, the world had gone through its first World War. Started in 1914, ended in 1919. By the time you were in your teens, this World War morphed, because you know what happened? In the early 1900s, you would have gone through the Spanish flu. And that pandemic killed a lot more people than COVID-19. But when you became 29, imagine you come from World War I, the Spanish flu, and now you're going into what? The Great Depression. Then when you were in your 40s, the world went through a second World War. So let's back up here a bit. If you were born in the 1900s, you would have gone through 2 world wars, a global plague and a market crash, the likes of which the world has never seen. Back then, the world had no internet, no phones, none of the technological creature comforts that we know today. So you see, we all got hit hard by COVID-19 in 2020. And it's financial or economic aftershocks because we are soft and we have been made to think good times last forever. COVID only came to remind us that things can change. That's according to Vusi Tembekwayo. Young people, this is instructive. That's why I am admonishing you to pull up your goddamn chair here this evening. Remember always, stay on mission, because this is Showtime. This is the real deal. We have got to appreciate that our general misconception of middle age being late 40s to early 50s is just wishful thinking. If we were to go by the life expectancy of human beings as enshrined in biblical teachings, as that of 70. Let me break it down for you folks. A score is 20 years. So 3 of those are 60 years. And add 10 more to that. And what do you get? 70. Middle age, therefore. I want among you to section all yourself. Middle age is 35. Don't think it's 50. Hardly anybody make it 100 in this part. Because I think I read somewhere recently where our life expectancy in Grenada is very low, 69 years. 1 year short of the biblical teaching of 70. What does that say? Kentucky fowl, processed fowl, all you're eating. Macaroni among you eating. Among you so busy on the phone, the camera, all you buy that also is a phone. Because you're buying it first for the camera. You forget it's a computer and it gives you gateway to the world. You see? So you're not interested in information that you could corroborate on it and it becomes your knowledge. No, man, you have no interest in that. Look, for instance, if there's way-ha, rubbish down the road taking place, you're seeing views like crazy. Something positive taking place, among you could even hear the troops. Just by the small numbers of people who are on the program live, that positive, whatever it is that's taking place, you could literally hear the stoops and contempt. That is why the old nastiness could have taken among you and play the royal fool with all you. Because between the ears, apart from wax, you have nothing. Some of you went to school and you used the school as a day nursery. You went there so that the teacher could hold you still until your mother come home in the afternoon. And then you go home. Some of your favorite subject in school was break time and school over. That is why it was so easy to manipulate among you and give you some old dirty green water to drink. And among you following that till among you dead. But listen to some good reasoning here, folks. Middle age is 35. So I want to remind all those who remained mum and dumb during the period 20th June 1995 to 23rd June 2022, for the most part, when your negligence caused and encouraged that old nastiness to literally thief Grenada from among you, causing you to waste time doing nothing, undertaking nothing while you age. If you are now in your 40s, 50s, and 60s today, you need to step aside and give younger people who are not yet middle-aged a chance. Go among your time done. Because some of you are as useless as tits on a bull, your time is really over. If by June 23rd, 2022, you were not on your way at 35, now that change has come, that you probably did not even help deliver to this nation, take a goddamn number and wait in line, as there are other more energetic and ready to function young people in their prime, willing and eager to move forward with a much needed and very necessary transformation agenda. Stop blocking valuable space and just operating like matter alone. You know, matter is anything that has weight and occupies space. All among you doing is contributing to global warming, breathing up people good air, and you're useless. Folks, this is the time for action, not all talk. While you conclude that certain people in their 20s are too young, and them being involved in anything or even at the head of anything is not a good look at this time. Joke among you making. Your time done. Go. Trust me, a lot of you are too out of order to be making such pronouncements after arriving at such mal-informed conclusions. Young people under 35, remember, you are the majority of our population. Rise up and take your place. Stop allowing any old nastiness to make you feel he or she is still relevant, when in truth and in fact their relevance is only related to being brought in a public square for a weekly licking in response to their transgressions against you over the years. The memory of such nastiness and nastinesses can only help to foment resentment against such backward comments about who too young, while they block space on committees, boards, organizations, and companies at the head, with nothing to show by way of real progress in their lives or progress that they contributed to help develop the said entities that they're blocking space on. A lot of you need to be put in your places and told what time it is. For if you knew the history of Grenada, you would surely recognize that T.A. Marishaw was 28 when he, together with C.F.P. Rennick, established the West Indian newspaper. At your age, what you established? Nothing. Just global warming you contributed to. And the West Indian newspaper advocated for the West Indian Federation. You see, at 28, what a 28-year-old, how many years ago? 100 years ago. You see what a 28-year-old was capable of? Look at what a 28-year-old might be capable of today. Judging from you, those failures who sat there numb and mum by the actions of the old nastiness, whittling away your life, being afraid to do this and afraid to say this and all kind of nonsense. And today you're seeing constructive young people wanting to step forward and you're beating your gum. Go and buy some chewing gum and get out of tongue. Beat your gum on that. You have no idea about the history of this country. Folks, I am at a golden age. A golden age of my life. And here how I am taking a stand in favor of young people because I am appropriate. A lot among you lost time pandering to this old nastiness. And today you're coming to tell constructive young people who too young. And it wouldn't be a good look. All this time you some backward old, hardly could read and write, fake youth. Spoil and not good. You can't contribute to nothing good. But you're studying nonsense. Listen to this, folks. Eric Gary was 24 when he started to show interest and agitated against the colonials on behalf of workers in this country. He finally succeeded in maiming the British colonial powers together with the plantocracy in 1951 at the age of 29. But among you talking crap today about somebody in their 20s, too young. Too young for what? We got Marshall Montano, 10 years old. They say you're too young to soca. Oh, yo, they're making joke. You remember that? Look at him today. I think it's 40 years he celebrated singing calypso or soca, whatever they call it today. Look at him, and still a star. He has put soca on the international map. Still a relatively young person. And all you're talking crap about who too young. Where among you come out? I tell you all already, a lot of you, even at 40 years, a lot of you need a wheelchair and a pillow. Because of how you allow that old nastiness to maim you. And today, you get some freedom. And you're talking about who too young. Go to sleep, according to the Bahamians. Go to sleep. Maurice Bishop returned to Grenada at the age of 25, 26. Started to agitate against Gary. As he landed. When he became 29, he was made head of the new Jewel movement. And it was serious opposition to Gary. From then until the age of 34, when he became Prime Minister of Grenada, having led an armed uprising against Gary. So you backward, outer timing, over 35s who are making pronouncements that this one and that one too young. Cut it out and section among your losing selves. You realize I got animated because it's vexing. Look at the ages of important local history makers. All on their way to real middle-aged 35. None of them can be regarded as has-beens who never were and fighting up to be and is because they kowtowed to any old nastiness of their time. But the many who are known to have wasted their bloody lives under that old nastiness while bawling with their mouths tightly shut are today coming to stifle young, able, enthusiastic, and passionate people. The Deacon Mitchell-led administration need to revisit some of its appointments, which are extolling the virtues of this level of backwardness by declaring a lot of willing and able young people too young. Send them to history classes, which I am prepared to volunteer to give them, so they could relanguage themselves and consider themselves lucky to be still included in this new dispensation after their productive years have for the most part been expired. I applaud the few managers and leaders our working landscape is still blessed with, who empower team members, cause them to grow. I can think off the bat of one right here and now whose team members are a joy to interact with. Richard Strawn of Netherlands Insurance. He's such a gem that his team members reflect his leadership and the confidence he reposes in them. He develops his team members just by being the best professional example he can be to them by just being who he is. He's just one of the few who can be considered a benchmark for the desired leadership our working environment craves. Young people, pull up your goddamn chair and pay attention. Remember always, when you are given an opportunity to work with such focused leaders and managers, stay on mission, they are giving you an opportunity to show up and show out, because this is showtime. Let's take a little break and we'll come back for some more instructive.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful, as the Germans say, wunderbar. Folks, welcome back. And for those of you just joining, I want to say thank you for, if you're a newcomer, welcome. Folks, COVID-19 presented itself as an extremely invisible and troubling pandemic, and has rewritten the script for businesses to include all banks, supermarkets, hire purchase establishments, electricity, water, telephone outfits, which were forced to put people over profits. Governments the world over are forced to dig themselves deeper into debt to take care of the needs of the poor and otherwise vulnerable, while buttressing the middle class and business class with stimuli in order to keep them alive. Yet for all, because of the devastating impact this pandemic has had on commerce through necessary restrictions put in place to safeguard lives, many have fallen through the cracks and have lost their jobs. Let's back up a little bit here though. Because we thought good times last forever, many grew to take things for granted and never consciously contributed to strengthening their places of employ. And so, when the crash came, they had to go home. We are seeing in the early aftermath of the lifted restrictions, as we all learn to live with COVID, which has not gone anywhere, the almost savagery meted out by workers to customers of most places here in Grenada. And do you know, most of these places, a lot of them are unionized. And you're not hearing the unions talking about, hey folks, come on now, man, let's get on board. No, they're acting as legal aid for bad behavior. Workers' rights. So the workers could come, use their cell phone, thief back the time, demand 8 hours pay, because the businesses are owned by retards. They have no rights. And when the customers come, they're terrorized as if this place is an ISIS camp. Workers' rights. What a balderdash. We have a country to build, and everybody should be on the same goddamn page. Because you are customers from time to time, and you are tortured too. Don't separate the two. You see what's going on. Stop looking only through one lens and talking about workers' rights. Sometimes, you know, I just want to use some adjectives here that are just not conducive to the nature of this program. The people in this country need to know where to get off. Singapore is 58 years, look at it. Dubai is 53 years, look at it. 50 years Grenada is next year, look at it, limping, dragging on the ground, because our old nastiness was in charge for most of the independent life of this country. And look at it. Turn poor and vulnerable people into an industry. Keeping them poor and vulnerable, because that's his customers. To keep him in power. Poor. Extremely poor and abysmal leadership. And you know, people like me, that's why I have a short fuse for anybody that I've been to school with that's supposed to have sense supporting that crap. It befuddles me. Never understand somebody who was brought up properly supporting that old nastiness. What does that tell you? It tells you a lot. All you need to know about these kind of people, all they're studying is what they could get, rip the country, and want to celebrate 50 years of independence. We're not qualified to celebrate nothing. We could peep at it and observe it, but we're not qualified to celebrate anything. What is Grenada best at? What are we best at? What do we manufacture here? Tebe. And at one time, well, it gone down now. At one time, it used to be children. Children and confusion alone we're making it. But we want to celebrate 50 years of independence. Making Tebe, beating Tebe, and making children. A lot of little more poor people. Poor people making poor children. People who are poorly socialized, making children to poorly socialize them. And the cycle continues. Folks, I tell you the thing, vexing. That nastiness mash up this civilization. Mash it up. And all you can't see that. But you know, there's none so blind as Voltaire said. There's none so blind as he who could not see, would not see rather. You see, folks, I don't know when we will learn. But I want you to put the election results in the mix with the proceeds of corruption as per the culture of the last administration, ably led by that old nastiness himself. You see, corruption has been now reduced to a trickle on its way to drying up altogether. And what have we got? That is precisely why we are to be reintroduced to how we used to live as per the cultural dictates before June 20th, 1995, when we had little to no tiffin. We have got to lend a hand to those around us, folks. We have got to return to the days when we used to be each other's keeper, as a matter of course. If we are positively wired, many of us will see this period for what it is. A period that beckons each and every one of us to search our consciences and reach out to others. Receivers must engender in themselves the spirit of gratitude, which in and of itself can encourage that spirit of kindness in the other more fortunate among us. Attitudes must change. people giving people things now, and the people receiving it as if they think it's a relay match. No look back. They just take and they're gone. No look back, not even to say thanks. We've become a nation of beasts, so to speak. Thanks to the old nastiness and the long period of what teaching us, the majority of people, the price of everything, but the value of nothing. We have to revisit our ability to love again. What would 2023 end up delivering to us, folks? It will end up delivering to us that which we put into it. You went with some half-hearted energy, that's what you will get at the end. Half-hearted results. We generally have no idea what it will deal to us. But guess what? We should remind ourselves how hopeful we all were at the end of 2019. Craving a great 2020. Of course, as we neared the end of 2020, we were wishing the same good fortunes for 2021. It was not to be, as our crab in a barrel mentality guided our very behaviors and left us wanting. We did enter 2022 with more hope, and yes, thank God we received what we hoped for most: change of government. From the old nastiness to the new government. From one led by that creature and his goons to a fresh start for the main opposition, led by a mammothly successful corporate lawyer who transitioned from that noble profession to politics, delivering election campaign promises after promises like we have never seen under the tenure of the old nastiness and his kleptocracy and parasitic oligarchy from 1995 to 23rd June 2022 for the most part. We can all feel the change taking root in spite of all the resistance from the customers of these nastinesses who relegated them to the back. Such customers, avidly blind followers who suffer from chronic denial when it comes to understanding that corruption is over. Everyone is admonished to enter this new dispensation with an open mind and the strength to face any new challenge the new way of doing things may bring. To the displaced and otherwise worried, I beg you to use this period to reflect on what you can do better to shore up your ability to survive, as you stand the best chance to so do in these times here so now. Chaos has always been known to provide opportunities for innovation. Look for opportunities to innovate as you navigate the aftershocks of the ongoing pandemic. Look for opportunities to innovate in ways that are likely to help you remain relevant now that things have begun to return to some semblance of normalcy. But while we're at it, we have to realize that not all parts of the past normal are desirable to be maintained going forward. Young people, you cannot afford to be a loser in all of this. That is precisely why you have to consider yourself staying on mission. For this is Showtime. And to lose Showtime is to regain that old nastiness and his backward style of leadership and politics to take you back to probably the 18th or 17th century. You will never be able to go forward again. Let's take a break and we come back for our final chapter, so to speak.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during EDDIE-FICATION are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Folks, welcome back. Welcome back. You see, too many of us suffer from destination disease. We reach a certain level, earn our degrees, which we tend to want to transplant wholesale to the workplace environment, theoretically that is, without being properly able to apply practically. We buy our homes and then we just coast. Many of such people tend to stymie growth and development of the working environment as they are void of people skills, whether on the inside and among their peers or with customers. We have to understand that none of these areas of certain levels that we feel we have reached indicate success. We tend to have a warped view of success, which points to us considering it as a destination to arrive at. And as a result, we fail. Success, folks, is a journey, not a destination. The goalposts always shifts. You see, when we acquire what we set out to acquire, we are considered successful. If we do not shift gear to maintain that new acquisition, we lose it. So you see, success just moved from purchase to maintenance. In a few years, it shifts finally to replacement. And hence, we must never suffer from destination disease. Because if you feel you have arrived, you will get stale and you will be overtaken by whom you least expect. Today, I want to light a fire under you. Shake off that destination disease nonsense. Sharpen your skills. There are many articles I have read about being laid off. Guess what? We don't have to read such articles anymore. Layoffs are here with us as part of the direct impact of COVID and the trauma it has brought on our national economics. Take a walk into many business places and we can feel the staleness and the drag. You see, folks, the limited effervescence of pre-COVID years is lacking. There are three main things that employers look for in determining who stays and who goes. They look for those with positive attitudes, flexibility, and a desire to keep learning and improving. You see, they look for those who regularly clamor, "That is not me work," and "they doesn't pay me for that," and others who are 3:45. On the mark, get set, and you see them at 4 o'clock, they're gone. They're working in Granans, you know, but 4:05, you could see them by the Esplanade Mall. They look for those to identify, because these people identify themselves easily as the ones to cut when the going gets tough. and business gets rough. These people don't even realize they volunteered just by their actions to show how qualified they are to be the ones selected to be cut. Folks, to be a winner, you need to develop your skills to the point where the company cannot do without you. Or at least you want your managers and leaders to know things don't run nearly as smoothly when you're gone. If you are out on vacation and nobody misses you, you better stay on vacation. If somebody acts in your place and performed better than you, that is okay as long as you own the company. If you don't own the company, again, you may as well stay home. But if you're an employee, take a hint. Get packing, because if you work for me, you are history. Remember, if you're not being missed, you are not needed. A lot of you need to know that. But I want you to listen to this dastardly story here, folks. Right here in Grenada, there was this experience with an optimally negative and toxic woman in a particular workplace whose duty was to turn the place upside down each day she comes to work. Some of you know people like that. Everybody hated her ways and did not enjoy working at that place because of her and the undesirable energy management allowed her to permeate the whole place with on a daily basis. Well, guess what? As God would have it, unfortunately, she contracted COVID-19 and died as part of the several numbers who succumbed to the virus. Employees stopped short of throwing a party to celebrate her demise. The only thing that stopped them was the restrictions relating to gatherings. I am sure some of you listening to me here now today had a similar experience regarding such toxic and caustic individual in your workplace, in your household, in your church, in your community groups, and even at the level of the government service. Well, on a national level, we responded to that old nastiness on 23rd June 2022, and we were able to section that old nastiness and the diabolical team of nothings at all who presided over the nation's affairs from 1995 to that fateful day for the most part. You need to kick it into a new gear. During this post-pandemic period, which offers nothing but continued uncertainty, produce more than you have been producing. Take some classes to increase and improve your skills. Step it up a notch. Don't settle for a low position where no one will miss you. Get that talent and skill that will cause you to be noticed constantly. Cream always rises to the top. It is cacapool that drops to the ground and stays there. I beckon you to stop making the mistake of settling for good enough. Good enough is not your destiny. Stop being casual about life, for he who acts casually most times end up a casualty. Too many fellow Grenadians have been falling casualty to life and end up fading into oblivion while alive, with the effect of just awaiting their final breath. When you have an excellent spirit, folks, it shows up in the quality of your work and the attitude with which you do it. We are all children of the Most High, created to excel, not to just trudge along. Keep reaching forward to the new things the Master has in store for you. You can only do so by staying on mission, for this is Showtime. I have a little secret for you folks. I'm giving you another segment, a shorter, but let's take a little break here and we come back for that shorter segment, which would be final. This is your little bonus for all that lovely behavior and your total interaction here today. So peace and blessings. Just hold on. Let's take this little break here, and we'll come right back for that final.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. So let's just take in this little bonus segment. Folks, I'm always searching for positive experiences to share. And to a great extent, I guess if I were a little more in circulation, because I really don't go places anymore, I would be able to tally more. The regularity with which I am to experience the goodness of people of late during a very few public encounters that I would have had tells me either I am not about enough, and therefore my drastic reduction in the wanton abysmal service experiences assures me of better experiences, or people just know not to mess with me, as I will not accept same lightly. Whichever it is, I can live with either and both. You must recall me telling you, okay, of the lovely experience I had with a police constable Modeste of the South St. George Police Station when I experienced a hit-and-run accident on the Maurice Bishop Highway on Friday, January 6th. Well, he has been consistently great. The follow-up telephone call one receives from the police to see whether the matter has been resolved was yet another measure, for me to use of the consistency of professionalism from officers of the South St. George Police Station. In fact, Constable 574 Pierre was on the ball. If the RGPF were to experience true transformation, which we all know it is much needed as a result of its decimation at the hands of that old nastiness over the years, the positive experiences of these two constables assures me that it is possible. I offer my personal commendations to them. On another note, the Deacon Mitchell administration needs to be made aware that a lot of the people in acting positions within the service were put there and kept there by that old nastiness, his predecessor, to keep them beholden to him, the old nastiness. To confirm them was to give them independence of him, and so he kept them acting in perpetuity as a way to control them. If he knew they were not worthy to be confirmed in the positions, but worthy to be used to do his bidding only, then when their contracts have ended, they must be reverted to their substantive positions. The very few who may have been made permanent or who may have acted for long enough to bring any thought of reverting them to, a little challenging for the Public Service Commission. Must look into the ages. PSC must look into their ages to see whether they have reached 55 and resort to parting ways with them on that basis as provided for in law. There is a certain non-political head of a certain ministry who is known to be making regular moves to recommend confirmations and even promotions of known saboteurs within that specific ministry, who has got to be over 55 by now and should be parted ways with forthwith. Strong action is needed with those who are insisting on cementing loyalists to the old nastiness in a transformation environment where there is no room for sabotage by nincompoops loyal to that old nastiness. The nastiness that the last diabolical lot allowed to be smelt around the precincts of, let's say, the Data Protection Bill, for instance, folks, is soft nasty as against the real hard nasty they are capable of. And that is precisely why I continue to admonish our majority youthful population. Pull up your goddamn chair and pay attention. So all the likes of Juve Barbie and all those envious and malicious failures whose time is over cannot distract you from your mission to mind your business, because this is truly your time and this is truly showtime for you. All of this said, good talent in Grenada is really something of the past. Could you imagine? Not many can be seen to be capable of replacing these left-handers whose capacity resonate with being easily irritated to do mischief against the new administration and seldom to be roused to do any good for Grenada because of their lack of capacity and loyalty to that old nastiness. Folks, what we should do with these people? I love and admire the thunder dished out to certain members of the local trade union brigade who pandered then and still do today to the old nastiness during the 2013 to 2022 period in particular, when nothing of consequence could have been heard coming from their quarters, even though members were victimized and contract workers taken and made perpetual fools of. Imagine even the president of the Public Workers Union was banished to a desk in the corporate registry with nothing to do, and not one of them came to her aid. She had to seek legal redress in the courts, which she eventually received over quite a number of years. Now that desirable change has come to our nation, with the majority of our people voting in favor of taking back Grenada from that old nastiness and his brigands. These same certain union operatives can be heard and seen making public nuisances of themselves. I invite all Grenadians who truly love their country, push these Zandolis back in their holes together with the old nastiness. A lot of these so-called leaders in our society leave much to be desired. We have moved from a society of people who once operated on the basis of placing a high value on doing things properly and seeking to give value for money, to a society where many, to all, almost all of us, looking for something for nothing. We who are prepared to work hard to achieve are thought of as foolish, while so many others are prepared to walk in and remove anything that is not properly nailed down and flaunt their ill-gotten gains before us. I end today by proffering a pronouncement that involves two extremes that are unfortunately suited to the nation we have deteriorated to become. one that surprisingly heads towards 50 years of national independence. One, heavy manners, which we all saw worked when Grenadians were a lot brighter, more able and capable of more nationalistic, more patriotic, more astute, and more vigilant. Could you imagine, with all these positive attributes, heavy manners still worked? Could you imagine, with the total suspension of the national constitution, so much more was achieved under the hands of the PRG, making us the envy of the sub-region for a little under 5 years? We need that revolutionary experiment now more than ever. With rights come responsibilities, and people need to understand the meaning of being accountable for their actions or inactions before they can be qualified to actively participate, and meaningfully at that, in democracy. Because democracy presupposes its participants have sense and are intelligent. Listen to the other pronouncement. 2. The converse to that is that the people are so piss poor in attitudes, education levels, what they have grown to accept and tolerate on the premise that they have absolutely no appreciation for the finer qualities of an acceptable standard of living and quality of life, that they could really be only qualified to be led by that old nastiness and his lack of vision, which he confirmed them in total poverty and vulnerability. God, all you that vexing bad, you know. Grenadians have been reduced for the most part to a people who love to be lied to and at, victimized and ill-treated, with their resources mismanaged and misdirected, as if to prove they are a nation of retards. I am totally convinced, you know, that we have more people here who do not fit either of those decrepit pronouncements. The proof is in the results of the last general elections. All we have got to do is to stay awake and make sure that old nastiness and his brigands never see the light of day again to be ever thought of as having a chance at returning. The couple elected members of parliament on the government side who are found to be sleeping at the wheel at their ministerial appointments, we, the people, intend to clamor loudly for your removal as candidates in the next general election if you continue to sleep at the wheel. Folks, I speak English properly, but for the sake of the benefit of those who wish to misunderstand this, I want to take it again so that these couple elected members of parliament on the government side who are found to be sleeping at the wheel at their ministerial appointments, I am reminding you, read my lips if you can't hear, we, the people, intend to clamor loudly for your removal as candidates in the next general election if you continue to sleep at the wheel. You have great examples in Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, in Andy Williams, and in Philip Telesford, just to name 3 visibly functioning ministers, among the others, who do, of course. You, the sleepers, you better wake up. The grumbles are loud. If you can't hear them, it's because you're either deaf, you're socializing in the wrong place because you feel you arrived, and or you're not tuning in to the right media. Gatekeepers of this important change are not prepared to make any joke with all you. A word to the wise is more than sufficient. I am in, I am out, I am gone. See you next week, God willing, for regular programming. Until then, I beckon you to stay safe, stay well, and remain forever lifted.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using buddy payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home.
I want the best for my family. So every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now. www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver.